Yes, I actually serve as the Chief Executive Officer of a nonprofit called the Dating Violence Prevention Center. And through that nonprofit, I primarily go into middle schools and high schools, and I teach the Love is Not Abuse curriculum. The curriculum contains four different portions. The first portion talks about the different forms of abuse, whether that be sexual abuse, physical abuse, verbal or emotional abuse. And then it transitions into other sections that talk about more specifically digital abuse. There's a whole entire section that's dedicated to that. And then there's also other sections that talk about how to help a friend, how to help yourself, safety planning, different concerns that a victim might experience, and then also how to get help and assistance. And so for parents, it's a really good tool because within the curriculum, there are guides in there that also educators can use to just give you context and background about what dating violence is so that you feel more knowledgeable and empowered to be able to share that information with your child. I primarily teach it with the middle school students, and they are in love with the digital abuse section. Typically when I go in, you might have students that, as you're talking about physical violence or verbal or emotional abuse or sexual abuse, they will say, well, you know, that's never happened to me, or I don't really know anybody that's happened to. But as soon as I say digital abuse, they're like, oh no, like, you know, my boyfriend, he is always texting me, or my girlfriend is always on my Facebook page. And so from there, there's almost like this universal, we're all in the same boat kind of mentality that occurs, where they all seem to agree that that's the one form that they all can kind of relate to. And they're very receptive to the curriculum. They love the activities that it contains. They love the That's Not Cool videos, and they really get engaged in having a debate and conversation of where do you draw that line. Well, with the college age, of course, it's a more mature audience, and so we primarily will be talking more about the sexual violence because that's what's happening mostly on that campus. But we also talk about digital abuse there as well. But the conversation is a little different because it's more of like a psychoeducational kind of format, because you're dealing with the cognitions of the person as well as their behavior, as well as how they respond in their bystander intervention programs that the school offers. They try to find ways that they can empower themselves with the information, take it out, and share it with their dormitories, their sororities, and their fraternities. So it's pretty much still the same information that's being dispersed, but it's at a higher level of maturity, and where we can talk about different things like attitudes behind perpetration or victimization, or how you can actually intervene on your campus and then yourself become an advocate. So it's a lot more action that's happening on college campuses rather than just sitting and listening to a lecture about the topic. But really just expanding our efforts into the Florida area. As a state action leader for Georgia and Florida, I've spent a lot of time on the ground in Georgia and just making a presence there. And so I really want to be able to do the same thing in Florida and bring in more schools to teach the actual Love is Not Abuse curriculum, since they actually have a law that requires them to do so.